the Sydney Cricket Ground, venue for the centenary soccer test between Australia and England. No real surprises in the England team. Trevor Cherry, the captain, of course, playing in his 26th international this evening. The two Ipswich boys there in the back line, Osman and Butcher, and their teammate Paul Mariner up front, number 12. And number 7, David Armstrong, is in the lineup this evening. Armstrong arrived from Hong Kong only this morning, where he's been playing with his club team Middlesbrough, and he's gone in at number 7 in favour ahead of Devonshire. The subs there with Phil Parkes, the reserve keeper, Brian Greenhalgh, Alan Devonshire, Reeves and Ward. And the Australian line-up now with the game underway already. We'll put the Australian team on the picture for you as soon as we can. There it is again, the team as announced. Jimmy Rooney the captain, but let's get on with the game now with Australia defending the goal to our right, and the ball goes back to Big Joe Corrigan, the England keeper from Manchester City, giving his players time to settle down. Number 4 for Australia is Muir, heading it forward. Eisendawn to Rooney. Back it goes to Tony Henderson in the back line. Number 6 for defensive midfield, Rudy Guttendorf is called in this evening. But this is Puscarlo sweeping the ball across to Jimmy Tansey on the left. Tansey, the left fullback, filling it to Bowden, coming out to meet him. Bowden trying to get round the England defender. Number 3 is Cherry, Trevor Cherry, the England captain, to take this first throw of the match. In it goes into the midfield. The big boy is Butcher there. A long pass going out to Armstrong. Armstrong a little thin on top, but he's only 25 years of age, and away go Australia on the right. Steve Perry moving down the right for Australia. The long ball for Gary Cole, and the referee has given an indirect free kick. He had his hand in the air. Tony Boscovich, Australia's World Cup referee, has made, I guess, his first controversial decision of the game. A free kick to Australia. The hand went up as he gave it, so indicating an indirect. There's the England wall. Gary Cole, and over the top, off the fingertips of Corrigan, for the first corner of the match to Australia. That's Lampard there on the fast post. West Ham left full-back. Jimmy Rooney to take this corner for Australia. Cole comes to Tansey. Rooney in close contact there with a couple of England players. And finally, Cherry moves it forward. Cole again in the middle. Shot from Cole, and again Corrigan brought into action. So it's all Australia in these opening few seconds of the game. About 2 minutes gone. Number 7 for England is Armstrong. David Armstrong. Trying to find one of those two front strikers, Mariner, number 12. Mariner with the ball now, slipping it back to Armstrong. 15 is Sunderland, the Arsenal striker. 15 again, Sunderland, but the situation saved for Australia by Puscarlo with Woodhouse in close attendance, and a corner to England on the left. With me this evening is former Australian soccer captain Johnny Warren.
Good evening, Martin. Well, I think it's a tremendous occasion for the Australian team, a tremendous crowd here, perhaps could be a little bit bigger. And my feeling before the game was that if Australia could overcome the first 20 minutes, regain their composure, and play as well as we know they could, that perhaps they are in for to make a really tight game for England. And I think they've settled down really well. A couple of good chances there by by Gary Cole brought the best out of Corrigan, and I think Australia have started off really well, and at this rate anyhow they've begun the game in good fashion and look like making a real centenary match of the whole affair.
So Greg Woodhouse plays for Leichhardt in the Phillips Soccer League here in Australia, one of the bright hopes of Australia's soccer future. Woodhouse just 20 years of age, but he's leaving the goal kick to the veteran in the back line, Ivo Pruscalo. Henderson. Jimmy Tansey, number 3. Henderson again, Tansey. England ball. Right on the halfway line. Trevor Sherry with the throw. Back it goes to number 6 for England. That's Osman. Osman and Butcher in the back line. Butcher's the taller of the two. England number 2 is Butcher. Away it goes to Lampard on the left. Lampard with the beard. Picked up in the Australian midfield by Bowden. And flying down the right is Steve Perry, I think. That's Perry, the Brisbane City skipper, coming into the Australian team. He's been a regular choice at right back for several matches now for the Australian side. And a nice chip back in by Perry, with Corrigan again having to save under pressure. Now England settling down in midfield, pushing it up forward to Mariner. Cole. Gary Cole, number 9 for Australia, 23 years of age, plays for Heidelberg in the Phillips League, and he's just recently been offered a trial by the Greek First Division club AEK. They thought a lot of him when the Greek team was out here in Australia a year or so ago, and they've made him an offer. At the moment it hasn't been accepted. Jimmy Rooney has gone to take this corner. Australia's been practicing these set plays earlier today. Comes out to Armstrong of Middlesbrough. Up on the left there. Now Perry. Pruscalo, Tansey, lying wide on his left. Bowden coming to meet him. That's Bowden. Rooney. Through ball to Bowden. Did well to keep that in. And the big boy, Butcher, there in the way. Up the left for England. 15 is Sunderland. Number 10 is Robson of West Bromwich Albion. But it's Armstrong now with the ball for England. Lampard back to Robson. Mariner. Lampard again. The number 9 moving in there for England was Hoddle. Exciting player for Spurs. Gary Cole, well over 6 feet tall, and he's put a ball through for Jankovic. Eisendorn moving into the middle there. Back now with Steve Perry. Jimmy Rooney, the playmaker. Pruscalo. Eisendorn. Tansey. Bowden. got Butcher on him. Tansey with Bowden, getting boxed in a bit, but Bowden away with the ball, trying to find Cole, moving across. Picked up by England number 9, Hoddle. Cherry moving in with Bowden for Australia. This is Sunderland. Oh, nice ball from Mariner. And here's a shot coming in from Hoddle. And it's first goal to England.
Well, after a really good start by Australia, where they played so well, just one chance here for Glenn Hoddle of Spurs. Tremendous shot. Woodhouse a little bit unsighted, but still perhaps should have had that shot. But against the runner play, and England have gone ahead.
So Australia got to start again. They were playing so well before that goal. Now we'll see what stuff they're made of. With England 1 goal up after 8 minutes in this centenary test at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Joe Corrigan of Manchester City, been described by England manager Ron Greenwood as perhaps the unluckiest keeper in England, with 2 good ones there, keeping him out of the way already in the England team. Hoddle, the goal scorer for England. But 10 there is Robson. Armstrong. Lampard moving up, as he delights in doing for West Ham. Remember that goal he scored for West Ham in that semi-final against Everton. Came through and scored a header to get West Ham into the cup final. Tony Henderson, one of Australia's hopes in the midfield. Pass that didn't quite reach its destination. Now Priscalo. Henderson again back into Priscalo. Jimbo Muir getting a touch of the ball, picked up by Rooney. This is Eisendorn. Australia at the moment, a little bit hemmed in, trying to start something. Rooney, Tansey's up in front of him. Bowden's coming in, trying to find Rooney on the wall part, on Tansey on the wall part, didn't quite come off. Trevor Cherry, captain of England tonight and captain of Leeds United. A great team player, 32 years of age. Cherry pushing it forward for England. Header by Priscalo. Cherry into Butcher. Osmond is standing behind him. Butcher up to Armstrong. Jankovic is there. Got round Lampard. Butcher coming in. And England have the ball. Into Mariner. Number 15 is Sunderland. Cherry on the right. Butcher forward to Robson. Cherry again. Met nicely by Priscalo. England now starting to push forward and finding Armstrong onside on the left. Jimbo Muir and Perry. No, it's Priscalo. Apart from that one moment, of course, when England scored, things started to go a little haywire in the Australian defence. The Australian defenders have looked pretty cool under pressure so far, doing the job. This is Bowden. Rooney, flicked inside by Eisendorn. But the experience of England telling there with Hoddle getting the ball across to Armstrong, now taking the return pass. Just inside the Australian half. Number 2 is Butcher. With the ball now. Lampard. Lampard's got up on the left. Steve Robson. Here's Lampard. Headed away by Muir. England again moving steadily forward. Eisendorn taking up a position now more in the back line. Henderson. Tansey. Jankovic through to Tansey again, but England defence get it back to the keeper. Corrigan looking calm. Had a great season for Manchester City. A team that hasn't been doing well in the English League this year, but probably Corrigan, more than anyone else, has managed to keep them in the league. One of England's great goalkeepers. Kenny Bowden. Lampard. Butcher. Hoddle to meet it. Armstrong moving forward. Mariner in the middle. Straight to Bowden. And big Gary Cole on the way. A chance for Australia. And a glaring miss by Gary Cole. It was Jankovic. Jankovic, not Cole. Lampard. Lampard up the line. Sunderland with Henderson behind him. Coming across the England midfield, Hoddle. Cherry. Blocked by Bowden. Butcher. No one moving that time. Jimmy Rooney. Rooney and Robson, two of the shortest players on the park tonight. Jim Muir just recently joined the Marconi club in Sydney, came from Adelaide City. Spent a lot of time not playing football early this season. Adelaide, he wanted to leave Adelaide, and finally Marconi picked him up, and he's been a good find for them, working well with Bruscalo at the back for the club. Now a nice ball to Mariner. And England's second goal, scored by number 12, Paul Mariner, in the 25th minute. No, Australia 2 goals down in the first 25 minutes. Johnny White.
Well, I think that's been the difference so far, Martin. England 2 chances and have stuck them both away. The first by Hoddle and that one by Mariner. Whereas Australia, a couple of chances there, particularly to Gary, one there to Gary Cole from an excellent through ball from Kenny Bowden. England is much more positive in their movements and when they have the ball than the Australian side, and I feel Australia started off well, have slipped back a little bit and need to do a lot more when they're in possession of the ball than some of this interpassing, which is a little bit passive at the moment.
Tansey to Bowden. Good cross by Bowden, but deflected away for a corner by the big boy in the back there, Terry Butcher of Ipswich. Jimmy Rooney. Jankovic and Cole very alert for those corners there. Jankovic nearer to goal. Cole is the one that's moving in from the back. Jankovic near post. There's Cole. A gesture by Steve Perry, I think, told the story. A moment, but perhaps he'll want to begin. Now this is Armstrong, out on the right to Mariner. Tansey can make it. There's Cole in trouble. England, number 15, Sunderland, coming back to help out in the midfield. Mariner running into an offside position. Tony Henderson and Paul Mariner in picture there. Bruscalo to Tansey. Working with Jankovic. Bowden this time. Cole on the move. Put up in the air by Osman. Cherry watches it. Across the line for an Australian throw. About 8 to 10 metres from the corner flag, perhaps a bit closer. It's going to be a long one from Tansey. He's on the near post. Jankovic. Rooney. Tansey. Cole coming in, but right over the top of everybody, through to the safe hands of Corrigan, and Sunderland on the move for England. Eisendawn, Bowden. Everything going wrong for Australia in that midfield. And that's the half-time whistle. No, I thought it was. I saw a movement from Jankovic, from Tony Boskovic, and I thought he was coming up. Still 2 minutes to go. Gary Cole. Tansey. Oh. Betting in England again. Hoddle. Exciting player for Tottenham Hotspur, scores some great goals this season, some of which we've seen on ABC television. Muir driving it forward. Mark Jankovic working on the left, coming inside Cherry. Jimbo Muir. Cole couldn't find Perry out on the right. Dio's gone to take the throw. Henderson. Ball intended, I think, for Tansey, who was moving but didn't get anywhere near him. Now England on the move again, putting it all together. Mariner. And that is the half-time whistle, with England 2 goals up. Scored in the 10th minute by Glenn Hoddle and another in the 25th by Paul Mariner. England playing comfortably, well within themselves, and Australia with the task ahead of them in the second half. Tony Boskovic gets the second half underway, and that's how we see a little more positive approach from the Australian team in this second half. They've made one change, incidentally. Peter Shan has come on in place of Kenny Bowden, playing left striker. Peter Shan is number 12 for Australia. At the moment, I think England have retained the same team that did them proud in the first half. Tansey. Up goes Yankovic. Cole stabs it forward. And Australia appealing for a corner, which has been given by Tony Boskovic. Joe Colligan isn't exactly amused. And I think some of the England supporters behind the England goal there are similarly disposed to that decision by Tony Boskovic, but it's a corner to Australia. And Jimmy Rooney to take it. Yankovic on the far post. That was a good move, just lacked the finish. Yankovic did his job well, moving to the far post, clicking it up. No one there to take advantage. So the first bit of positive play by Australia in this half. Now Frank Lampard moving it down the left for England. We've got Alan Sunderland ahead of him. Into Mariner, Sunderland going through, a chance to score and a good save by Woodhouse. Action at both ends. It's all happened in the first minute of the second half. Yankovic. Eisendorf. Mariner goes away from him. Hoddle. So it's Henderson sticking it to Shan. Shan, the Australian speedster for Marconi. Back to Tansey. There's a good centre. Cole and Yankovic hungry for it there, but just unable to push it into the England net. And Australia, for the second time in a matter of 2 minutes, have caused some concern in that England defence. Colligan out. Eisendorf. England on the break. Henderson struggling. Mariner moving in. That was Hoddle. Armstrong out on the left with Perry. Bowden failed to do in the first. Tansey. Australian ball. Yankovic cleared by Cherry. Mariner getting it away from Pascalo and pushing it inside to one of the midfielders. It's Hoddle. Frank Lampard on the left. Armstrong, Hoddle. That was a nasty one, Johnny.
Yeah, as well, Hoddle caught a nice shot. He caught Greg Woodhouse a little bit off his lane, but Greg recovered well to make a fine save.
It's David Armstrong of Middlesbrough. To stay in this game, this is something they've really got to try and prevent happening as another goal at this moment. It's Woodhouse right out of off his line, and two clearances off the line by the Australian defence. It's Shan now breaking away on the left. A nice ball into Gary Cole, but he can't control it. And that was an open chance for Australia. In the 7th minute, that might be worth seeing again. Concentrate on what's happening at the moment, and it's the England number 10 Robson with the ball. Goes across behind Talbot, and Mariner well offside. Henderson, Tansey, out on the left, into Yankovic. It's a chance for Australia. Cole could do nothing about it. Corrigan stuck his arm out, picked the ball up. This time we can show it to you.
Well, Australia's starting to create a few chances, and mainly coming through the left-hand side. The first few minutes ago was from Peter Shan, demonstrating his outstanding speed to set Gary Cole up, and then again Jim Tansey coming on the left, combining with Yankovic. Again another chance, and I think if Australia have to exploit this strength that they have at the moment on their left flank to get back into this game.
It's all happened, of course, with the introduction of Peter Shan into this Australian team in the second half. Jim Tansey, the left back. Shan receiving. Tried the wall pass to Tansey, didn't come off. It's Proscalo in the back line. So we're into the 10th minute of the second half. 55 minutes gone in this match. England 2, Australia 0. Eisendorn to Perry, up through Yankovic. That's Cole. Yankovic is to his right, but he's got it out to Tansey. Yankovic in the middle now. Hesitation by both sides as to exactly what the decision is. It's a throw to Australia.
It was good to see Henderson coming forward, then, something that he wasn't doing in the first half, but the Australian team needs a lot of support from behind, particularly from a player like Tony Henderson, and setting up Tansey there for that move, and we'd like to see obviously a lot more of Henderson coming from behind to add another dimension to the Australian attack.
And that was a good attempt by Tansey that brought Corrigan leaving to touch it over the bar for another corner. Corrigan having a few words to say to Mr. Boscovich. I think Corrigan felt that that ball was over the top of the bar before he tipped it, but it would have been a very close thing. So another corner, another bit of set play for Australia, with Henderson again moving into the box. Yankovic on the near post, hooked away by David Armstrong for England. Australia certainly have lifted their game in these opening minutes of the second half. Jimmy Rooney. Jankovic with Lampard on him. Rooney with the throw. He's looking for someone to move to him. It's Eisendoorn. Good cross. Oh, and again Australia come very close indeed. That was Sean. Let's have a look at that again.
An excellent cross here from Eisendoorn, who's having a fine game in my book. A good cross, knocked on a little bit, and Sean's headed just a little bit wide.
I wouldn't say tonight has been one of Jimmy's better matches. I think he was struggling a bit in the first half.
Not one of his better, but I believe the midfield's been a little bit light on, with Muir and Henderson virtually playing double stopper with Priscalo behind. A little bit light on, and the workload has been tremendous there.
Mariner headed away by Eisendoorn. Cherry now into Butcher. Brian Robson. Hoddle on the right. Beautiful centre. And so far England's response to those Australian attacks in the opening minutes of this half haven't been quite as devastating as one might have thought. Priscalo. Eisendoorn. Cole to Jankovic, then the return. Perry's breaking on the right. Through for Jankovic. And Butcher turns, I think, rather relieved to find Corrigan saving, and also relieved that Jankovic didn't make more of that opportunity. A good build-up by Australia.
Yes, very good, especially from Gary Cole and Mark Jankovic. Again, it hasn't been an easy game for the Australian boys, but one has to admire the way that they have played in the second half. It's been much better in all respects. I would just like to think that we could see Henderson and particularly Perry Tansey become more involved at this stage in attacking movements, because Australia has to risk to get back in the game. It's very easy now for them to sit back and be satisfied with a 2-0 result, but I would like to see them take more risks and perhaps try and peg one back. There's Henderson now coming into the attack to Sean.
And Cole just unable to get that ball back to the Marconi winger. Peter Sean looking dangerous whenever he comes into the play. It's England now through Hoddle. Out on the right to Sunderland. Mariner starting to move towards the far post. Inside it comes to Robson. Armstrong wide on the left here, but Australia with the ball now. Perry. Good spoiling work by Jankovic and Eisendoorn. Henderson with Tansey coming in. And a spectacular movement by Australia. Corrigan safe enough on the near post, but it looked good.
It's the type of thing we were talking about. I think that Tony Henderson and Jimmy Tansey, that type of move, and it's what the Australian team's looking for at the moment, for them to come forward and be as effective as we know they can be.
England showing just a little laxness at the moment. And in fact are making a replacement. Number 8 is coming on, and that's Alan Devonshire with David Armstrong going off. And Armstrong probably a little tired. He's had an overseas tour with his club Middlesbrough. Just came down from Hong Kong this morning, and it was a surprise to find Bobby Robson selecting him ahead of Alan Devonshire. Devonshire, of course, who we've seen so recently on our television screens, and particularly laying on that match-winning goal for West Ham in the cup final against Arsenal. This is Brian Talbot, who played against him in the cup final. The Arsenal midfielder, number 11. Brian Robson, West Bromwich Albion, and Alan Devonshire with his first touch of the ball. And Henderson, who's had plenty of touches tonight. Drives it forward. Shan on the move, he's broken. And there's movement inside him too. Can he slot it across? Oh, Jankovic was so close. So close. At that time, no one even bothered to move forward, thinking that Corrigan would save that fairly easily. Could have been dangerous if they moved to him. Let's have a look at that again. It was so worthwhile.
Well, just again, this move again started by Henderson, and to repeat that, the more Henderson becomes involved in offensive moves, the more dangerous Australia looks. And that move involving Henderson and Shan, and finishing with an excellent shot from Salamides, which brought a good save from Corrigan.
Frank Lampard of West Ham. Osman. Sunderland. Eisendorn for Australia. Shan. Cherry coming in behind him. And a free kick. Australia will certainly need to maintain this urgency. England perhaps just a little tired after that long trip out here only 48 hours ago. Jimbo Muir that time. Here's Muir, newcomer into the Australian team. Rudy Guttendorf picked him for the combined Heidelberg-Marconi team that played Milan, and he's kept his place at number 4. Jankovic going up. Now Robson, deep midfield. Square to Cherry. Hoddle moving in front of him. Back through Butcher. Butcher to Lemper. Hoddle. A young boy but showing a ton of class. This is Alan Devonshire playing off for Lampard. Teammate at West Ham, of course. England still retain possession. Mariner. Nice flick back, but too many Australian defenders there. And that one Shan won't reach. And so an England throw on the right, just inside the Australian. Trevor Cherry chipping it across to Brian Talbot. Hoddle. Perry. Perry for Australia. Forward to Cole. Cole a little slow. Now Lampard. And Sunderland. We'll never forget that goal he scored for Arsenal inside 10 seconds in the one of those replays against Liverpool in the FA Cup. It's Alan Devonshire, who featured just recently in the FA Cup final at Wembley. Through Talbot. Sunderland. Playing a little deep at the moment. Nicely cut off there by Pascalo. Shahn moving across. Again, always someone spare for England on the right. Looks like Mariner. It is. Klaas. Devonshire. That was Huddle. Yes, Peter Ward on for Alan Sunderland. Peter Ward, 24 years of age, plays for Brighton in England, scored a lot of goals for them, and in Ron Greenwood's book is one of the England players of the future. Henderson moving forward. Tansey. Cole coming in, but it's too far away from him. Hoddle. Slightly limping, it looked Talbot. He's picking it up now. Here's Hoddle again. 1-2 with Peter Ward. Peter Ward active. They've been on the field about 60 seconds. He's touched the ball 2 or 3 times. Osman in the centre of the... No, that was Butcher, number 2. This is the back of Brian Talbot. Butcher. Typical English centre defender. That was Eisendorn. Really cool under pressure, perhaps a little risky, but he knew what he was doing. Tansey now with Shahn moving ahead of him. And Tansey rather disgusted with himself. Peter Ward. And up. Back to Talbot. England now starting to lock it up. Push in the back by Henderson. No doubt about that on Ward, and an England free kick. This is Ward or Mariner? Anyway, on again through. Australia rescue that situation. Well, now attempt to move forward to reduce that 2-goal deficit. 2 goals still down. About 4 minutes, 9 minutes left on the clock. 4 minutes left on the clock. Forward, white shirts of England. Hoddle, Eisendorn again. Oh, it's chance for Australia, and that must be a penalty. That is a penalty that Peter Shahn brought down. He was about to get his boot to the ball. The goalkeeper really had nothing much else he could do.
I think it was fitting that this move was between 2 of Australia's best players for me tonight, and that's John Eisendorn from Heidelberg and Peter Shahn. Tremendous speed of Peter Shahn, and a beautiful ball for him. Rounds Corrigan here. And then brought down. So penalty to Australia. I feel on their second half display that a goal here would be more than justified, and 2-1 final scoreline, perhaps a true indication of play tonight. But well done, John Eisendorn and Peter Shahn.
Meantime, there's been a change in the England camp. Kevin Reeves has come on, wearing number 14. I didn't see who came off. And obviously the rain is coming down out there. But it certainly hasn't dampen the Australian supporters, but the prospect of the goal pulled back. Did you see who came off, Johnny?
No, I didn't. It's Batonio, it looks like it's coming on for Australia.
Yeah.
Arno Batonio in Newcastle.
And Reeves is on for England. Who's going to take the kick now? Let's have a
Gary
look.
Cole.
Gary Cole. And it's 2-1. So Australia have hit the score sheet. Let's watch this penalty again.
And well taken by Gary Cole, as usual, from the spot, and just reward for an Australian team which second half has played very well indeed.
So there's a little bit of confusion at the moment in the minds, I think, of people watching the game as to who's on and who's off. Reeves is definitely on for England. There he is. Goal scored by Hoddle and Mariner for England, and Gary Cole for Australia. England 2, Australia 1, with about a minute left on the watch. There could be some injury time added onto this. And the crowd now, I think, really rising to this Australian challenge. England would love to score another one, I'm sure, to wrap it up. Australia with nothing to lose now. If they can move forward again over the last 2 or 3 minutes, anything could happen. Cherry for England, finding Mariner on the burst. Nicely shielded there by Jimbo Muir, player with a touch of class about him. And off the head of Salamides for a throw to England. 45 minutes is up. This is injury time now. Great second half display by Australia. They had chances. They could really have been at least 2-2 by this stage. And there is the final whistle. The match is all over. Tony Boskovic racing to get the ball. It's been an entertaining second half. A little bit disappointing in the first half for Australian supporters, but they came back in the second half full of spirit. Peter Shane, I think, was the magic on the left wing that really started to wake Australia up. And with Tony Henderson beginning to move forward, everyone seemed to have their spirits uplifted, and the result was a very invigorating second half display by Australia. And they've certainly had nothing to be ashamed about this evening. John Warren.
Well, I feel the second half display was really first class by Australia. I thought the introduction of Shane, although Kenny Bowden first half didn't have a bad game by any means, but the introduction of Shane with his speed and Australia's ability to exploit it in certain situations certainly did put a different complexion on the game. Australia paid the penalty in the first half for 2 really well taken goals. The penalty that you just can't give professional teams like or professional players like Hoddle and Mariner that chance. They paid the penalty in the first half, and their performance generally was down, but I thought in the second half they did extremely well, and I think they've got nothing to be ashamed of about this performance, and it will only stand them in good stead for the World Cup matches coming ahead.
And so the Winfield Cup goes to England, and I know the intention is to play this series in the future. England holding the first Winfield Cup, beating Australia 2-1. Goals for England by Hoddle in the 10th minute, Mariner in the 25th, and Gary Cole, a penalty for Australia just 1 minute from the end. Good night to you from the Sydney Cricket Ground.